So it's time to go over another one of those Battlefield Hardline weapons, and I'm going to be giving the SAR-21 the full analysis in this video. The SAR-21, which stands for the Singapore Assault Rifle 21st Century, is actually a bullpup assault rifle which was developed at the start of the 90s, and later adopted by the Singapore Armed Forces in 1999. Now you might be wondering what a gun created for the Singapore Forces is doing in a Western environment. Well, that's because the gun is also a popular weapon to be exported over to the States, and to be used by the police forces, and so it fits in nicely with Hardline's theme. Being an assault rifle, it means that it will be exclusive for the operator class as per usual. Though you don't need to worry about the SAR-21 being tied down to any particular faction, as both the cops and crooks can equip the weapon on any of their loadouts. Costing a price of $50,000, it's not as expensive as some of the other weapons that were brought out with the Getaway DLC or alongside it. But it's still not exactly cheap either, so for that amount of money, is the SAR-21 a good gun to be adding to your collection? Well, if we look at the weapon's overall damage to begin with, we can see that the SAR-21 has a maximum damage of 28, which starts dropping off at 40 meters. This lowers over distance up to 60 meters away, where that minimum damage rate of 18 is dealt. So in comparison to other assault rifles, it's the same damage model of the F2000, M16A3, M416 and the ARM. So nothing really all that fancy. It's got a medium amount of damage, though its range is perhaps a bit above average compared to some of the other operator weapons, and the heavy hitters like the MDC. This means that the SAR-21 should be able to kill an enemy with 100% health in 4 bullets up to 46 meters, though an enemy beyond 56 meters is going to need 6 bullets on target to take out. So its overall range isn't too shabby, and another factor that the SAR-21 doesn't have a huge problem with is its muzzle velocity. Firing at 600 meters per second, the same as the M1, the SAR's bullets reach the target a bit quicker than most of the other assault rifles, with it only being beaten by the M16A3. This means that you won't have as much trouble with bullet travel time, and so you shouldn't have to lead your targets and shoot ahead of them for your bullets to land, when they're on the move. But really, that's all the gun's positives when compared to other operator weapons, and there's a few things here that the SAR-21 does that could cause a few blunders. Something that's pretty obvious here is the rate at which the SAR-21 fires at. It's only got a fire rate of 650 rounds per minute, making it one of the operator's slowest firing guns. The AKM and RPK both fire slower than this at just 600 RPM, but at least they've got a higher amount of damage to compensate, and the ability to kill in 3 bullets at close to medium ranges. Down to this fairly slow fire rate, it might make winning those gunfights a bit more difficult, especially if you come across someone who's firing a speedy fully automatic weapon up close. And to make matters worse, the SAR-21 isn't particularly a very accurate or stable weapon either. The SAR has a vertical kick of 0.45, a leftwards kick of 0.3, and a rightwards kick of 0.27. So it's not brilliant, especially with the weapon firing so slow and not being able to inflict large amounts of damage. It's not a terrible pattern, but it can be a bit unmanageable at times. Not to mention that this gun's also got a high spread increase per shot of 0.6, which is one of the highest of the bunch, and it'll make the gun become increasingly inaccurate as you fire in full auto over time. So there are a few attachments here that can help counter some of the SAR-21's more problematic qualities, and first off, the recoil can be lowered by using the muzzle brake. This will mainly drop that horizontal recoil down to make the weapon more accurate, and this will probably give the gun a bit more of a boost when it comes to dealing with targets at mid to longer ranges, as more of your shots are likely to connect, and so they should go down a tad faster. But because that vertical recoil is so high, some of you might prefer the compensator to lower that a bit, making it a more stable weapon and probably easy to use at closer ranges. Because the SAR-21's muzzle velocity is so high, a suppressor might be an okay choice too, as it won't be lowered quite as far down as some of the other weapons. Though it might be better lowering that recoil with other muzzles, as this will make the gun perform better, and with the SAR-21 having a few problems in this field, that might be the best to prioritise. With the SAR-21 having such a high spread increase per bullet, that's something that really needs taking care of, so slapping on the stubby grip will lower this by 50%, dropping it down to just 0.3, making it a lot easier to control in full auto. So overall, the SAR-21 doesn't really do anything that outshines the other guns in the operator's arsenal. It does have a fast muzzle velocity and a decent range, so you'd think that the gun would be better suited for longer range engagements, but because of the weapon's lack of accuracy and stability, this makes it a bit of a pain to deal with at times. The fact that it fires at a slow rate doesn't help either, making those close-up one-on-one battles a little bit more of a struggle too. The SAR-21 can be redeemed up to a certain degree when you stick on some of those recoil reducing attachments on there, but it doesn't do anything really all that great, as it feels a little bit average most of the time. There's other rifles in the game that will probably offer you a bit more than this gun. It's not terrible, but it's not fantastic either. Anyway, that's all I've got to say in this weapon guide, but I hope you enjoyed it. Slap that thumbs up button if you did, and be sure to subscribe to see loads of other guides and reviews and so on. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in that next video.